And live.
Awesome. And here we go again. Welcome back to Nerds the Roundtable presents Rumble in the Jungle, our new run-through of Tomb of Annihilation. My name is Casey Williams. I am our Dungeon Master for tonight and the foreseeable future, as my friends and I fight zombies and liches and dinosaurs and whatnot. Emphasis on whatnot. Who knows what'll happen. Real quick, if everyone, I know we did this last time, but I figure we should probably do it for at least the first few times, and then maybe skip it for a while. If we can just go around and everyone introduce themselves, let's start with Jada. You can just kind of say who you are and your character.
Hey guys, welcome back to the stream. I am Jada, and my character is Rain. I'm playing an Aasimar cleric, and excited to get the campaign rolling.
Drew.
I am a wood elf. I'm also a druid. I'm trying out the Circle of Spores from the Unearthed Arcana.
I am super excited about that too. Ever since that class came out in Unearthed Arcana, I've been pumped to see it work. And I think the fixes in Guildmaster's Guide are really solid.
Yeah, I think it has potential.
Speaking of classes we're working on, Allie!
Hey guys, I'm Allie. I am playing an Elven Pendragon, which we're playtesting. It's not an official D&D class yet, but we'll see how it goes.
Yeah. It can be found on Tumblr. I've been meaning to find the name of the artist, but instead what I can do is I can at least post a link in the chat for now.
Yeah.
That's a thing I could do.
Check it out. Super cool. I'm really excited.
It's basically it's almost got the feel of a dragon blood sorcerer with some paladin-y flavor. It's an interesting kind of martial caster class. I would mostly compare it to a paladin.
Yeah, I think that's fair.
And that leaves us. Yeah, but we'll probably end up tweaking it as we go. It gets pretty powerful at higher levels. It's definitely going to take some work, but I love working with game mechanics, and maybe we'll talk about that in another stream sometime.
Sure.
But for now, last person that needs introduction is my lovely wife, Megan.
Hi. Excuse me, I'm hoarse. I play a human ranger beastmaster by the name of Dr. Zola Cream. Is a little native to the island of Chult, and she has spent quite a bit of her time studying some of the native inhabitants of the island, and we'll see how this goes.
All right, so I did just post the link for that Tumblr where this is posted.
Link, actually, because I've got links blocked, so they won't actually show up.
Well, later, and I'll put it in the YouTube video instead. How about that?
Cool.
That works.
Oh, also, my husband actually plays a character too, but he is out for work tonight. So I'll be at least running him in combat. His character, Frank the Tank, a Tortle Barbarian.
Yep, Riley will be back soon. Typically, when we do these games, everybody's fairly busy, and we are playing kind of later in the afternoon. So to kind of address that, we're okay with playing one player down. And having discussed this with the party, during social interactions, like in Port Nyanzaru, or when they get to some of the other social areas later in the game, we'll allow those characters to kind of wander off and do their own thing for the night. Once it gets to combat, I leave it up to them, depending on how difficult things might be, if they need that extra person, or if they would rather not risk that person's character. For the most part, it seems like we're all friends here, and I think everyone is not gonna be super heartbroken over getting to start a backup character. Knowing this group.
Speak for yourself.
Well, except for Megan, who I have to live with. Who will probably, if her character dies, play her character's twin sister, Dr. Kola Zreem. Or something.
And also make you sleep on the couch.
Oh no, he enjoys sleeping on the couch, so he'll probably sleep in his truck.
Anyways, yes, real for never
Disadvantage to go to
forever
bed.
lucky. We are doing 5e. I actually don't know how to play any other editions yet. That's something I'm kind of looking into. I'd love to learn 3.5. I'm also really interested in eventually running some Deadlands and or Icons of the Realm. But we'll get to that one day. Hopefully.
Yeah, I wouldn't mind running some Pathfinder too. Pathfinder's fun.
Pathfinder would be really cool, especially when Pathfinder 2.0 starts. I'm really interested in kind of learning that as it comes out, instead of having to start once there's a ton of material to learn.
Yeah.
I have every Pathfinder PDF, and it's just intimidating. There's so much, but it's also cool. Anyways, I suppose we should get started. Last game we kicked things off with our cleric and our pendragon, Felix and Rain, in the city of Waterdeep, where they met with Sindra Sylvain, a former adventurer who had succumbed to a death curse, this strange magic that's kind of pervading the world, causing resurrection magic to fail and people who've been resurrected to die, almost like rot away. They have hired these two to head to Port Nyanzaru and meet up with some of their contacts, including one Wakanga Otamu, who they have yet to meet. They did meet up with Dr. Zola Cream and Frank the Tank, and Theron, a druid who is hanging out in the Thundering Lizard. These three characters have agreed to help them out in their endeavor. And really, that's all that's happened. We didn't get too far last time, so we'll just pick up from there in the Thundering Lizard. So you guys are there. It's probably the next day by this point. We'd say you did pay the innkeeper for a night's rest, so we'll just pick up the next day. It's morning in the city of Port Nyanzaru. And this is, like I said, a thriving, very business-minded community. Lots of commerce. Adventurers are common here. Things probably get going pretty early in the morning. By as early as 6 or 7, there's people about in the common room of the tavern. People are back buying and selling at their stalls. The fishermen are getting ready to leave out for the day. So on and so forth. You would find breakfast waiting for you in the common room. The Thundering Lizard setting up kind of buffet style, probably nothing super fancy. Some like meat, like quickly seared meats of like unknown origin, eggs in great quantity, and probably some form of like biscuity tack-like substance.
What kind of eggs?
You're not really sure. There's a lot of them, and you haven't really seen many chickens in this area.
I was about to say they can't be possibly chicken eggs. So
to be of the larger variety, I would imagine.
Could I
is
investigate
there
the
anything
meat
that's
in this continental breakfast?
You certainly could.
Would it be like a nature check?
Yes.
Yes.
You're not really sure. It looks good though.
Fair enough.
You gather it's probably dinosaur meat. Dinosaur meat and fish are kind of what make up the protein sources in this area. Other things like monkey, perhaps, other jungle critters.
Gotcha.
Delicious.
Anything that we could possibly have saved for rations later, or is it all gonna spoil?
I mean, you could.
Your character might have some, depending on your background. A lot of them do.
I would say you could grab enough biscuits that we could call it a day's rations. Yes, monkey meat. Monkey brains are probably a delicacy around here.
Oh. So
but you could get enough of like this biscuit type, like kind of flour meal, to make up a day's rations, and you could put a day's rations in your inventory.
Okay, I will do that.
solid.
And I have 3 days. Okay.
So we need a guide, yes?
Yes. Casey, did we say before who might possibly, like, I know Dr. Zola would know, but Megan doesn't know. Who would we be able to possibly meet up with?
Let's see. You'd probably know at least a couple of the guides in the area. You would know that guides work on like a permit system. You have to register to be a guide with a certain one of the merchants. Let's see, which guide would Dr. Zola Cream know? Let's see. Dr. Zola would probably know of Farul and Gondolo. They are one set of guides. They are a pair. They kind of are a package deal. They're kind of down on their luck at the moment. You know them as kind of being dandies. They're from the mainland. And have been trying to kind of make their reputation here. Thought they could live the high life, and it's kind of worked out. You would be familiar with them. And I can show you their picture. Farul is a human, and Gondolo is a halfling. They are scouts. You also know that they have a triceratops that they take with them as kind of a pack animal, whose name is Zongo.
Zongo, I like it.
Yep. You would also be familiar with, let's say, Musharib. You know Musharib.
Musharib.
Yeah, Musharib, who is an albino dwarf, of gray skin with kind of these interesting markings around his face. This is what he looks like.
That's pretty cool.
Oh.
And you'd probably know him because you'd probably be very interested in an albino dwarf as an anthropologist. And you know he works out of Port Neonzaru as well. You know there are other guides that hang out around Fort Belurian, which is a flaming fist fortress to the northeast of the city.
Okay.
But you would be able to go look at the board and find other options.
Oh, okay.
But those are just a couple you know. To save
Is there
time.
any... Go ahead.
No, go ahead. To save time, I'm just going to give you guys the handouts for the available guides.
Okay.
That's probably the easiest thing to do. So this is Musharib's. And as I kind of get these ready, if someone would like to read them to the audience.
I will. The jungle is my home. I know it well. I can guide you anywhere in Chult for a fee of 5 gold pieces a day. Seek, join my quest to reclaim Harakhamar, my clan's ancestral forge. A volcanic eruption forced us to abandon it many years ago. The fire newts that have since taken over must be driven out or destroyed. At the very least, we must sneak in and recover a relic known as Moradin's Gauntlet. The fire newts must not be allowed to keep it. Kind, then hear my plea and join me in returning Harakamar to its rightful owners. I will waive my fee for your promise of assistance. I hope I said that.
Yeah, I think you did. All
Is that it, Meg?
That's the only one I've seen, but cool. It sounds like with this one, if we take him, then we can waive his fee as long as we help him out. This is...
Iku.
me.
I can read this if you want, Meg.
I can. I don't mind.
Okay.
While the lure of pillaging the antiquity of Chult is a temptation, I appeal to those who find fulfillment in doing actual good in the world. I seek to rid the jungle of evil. There are many ruins and ancient temples that must be reclaimed, so that the spirits of nature can return to their sacred places and live in peace. There are evil impostors who seek to blind you with promises of gold, but will only guide your throats to their blades. 5 gold pieces a day, with a 30-day payment up front. A small portion goes to pay off the merchant price Jobel. The rest I give to charity.
Ooh, you gotta sign up for a lease
Oh,
for
my.
this one.
I was gonna say I like the first part of that, but then the end part was like that's a lot of days.
Yeah.
I think we only have 100 gold, if I remember.
You do it better than me.
No.
Actually, I don't
He's
know
a
how
bit
much
too
gold I
steep
have.
for my
Well,
budget.
five times 30. I mean, they're asking for 150 pieces of gold up front.
And you don't know, perhaps if you talked with them, you could haggle a little bit, or maybe they would have a job too, and just didn't list it. That would always be an option. Up to you. You probably don't know her, Megan, per se. Here would be your friends Farul and Gondolo.
Okay. You want me to read this one too? Okay.
Do you see it?
Yes, I can. Here we go.
Yeah, someone else can read if they want. Megan's doing good, but
I can do it.
I guess I'm not good enough. Well, damn. Okay.
You are.
We'll have at
Hey.
that. I don't want to steal your
No,
thunder.
go ahead, True. Go ahead. I'm good.
I'm just trying to give you a break.
Why pay for one guide when you can have two for the same price? We have the smarts, the goods, and our own Triceratops.
Sold.
Treasures abounds. When we're done leading you to all the ancient sites and sacred places that we know of, you'll be swimming in gold and magic. All the other guides will lead you in circles and make you do all the work. Don't be fooled. When we return to Port Niazaru, you will have tales and fortunes enough to last a lifetime. Our price is 5 gold pieces per day with a 30-day payment up front. But we're glad to reduce our rate for equal shares of any treasure found.
Real Forever Lucky, I'm gonna need you to change your alignment to chaotic neutral, please. I'm for it, but just need you to know.
Do it.
In our chat, Real Forever Lucky says put a knife to his neck and ask nicely for a discount.
Now there's an idea.
I like it.
Oh, and
All right,
thank you
next
for the
up is
follow,
Mr.
as
Hugh
well, Real.
Hackenstone. Allie, you want to take this one?
I've stood atop every mountain in Chult. I know every gorge and crevice, every plateau and trail. My memory is an iron trap. I forget nothing. Trust a dwarf, I always say, because a dwarf will never steer you wrong. Fearless I am. There's no dragon, beast, or undead horror that scares me. You want a guide who runs away at the first sign of danger? No, you want a dwarf, and I'm the toughest dwarf around. Red dragon bit off my arm, yet here I stand. Takes more than a dragon to stop Hugh Hackenstone. I charge 5 gold coins a day and expect a 30-day payment up front. Best coin you'll ever spend, I promise you.
So
Okay.
Some stuff.
yeah, so maybe some of these guides, and there are ways to make money in the city. If one of these like sticks out to you, and you're just like, oh, it's so expensive though. I would say there are ways to get the money. So don't feel like you cannot do those. I know they seem expensive.
I'm kind of leaning towards the group with the Triceratops. They're kind of.
I kind of am too.
But we'll see what else is out there.
Yeah, I was going to say. So far, my favorite was the first dwarf, the albino dwarf.
Yeah, I think
True.
Salida. Jada, you want to take this one?
I've led many expeditions through the wilds of Chult. I know secret trails that appear on no map. Hire others at your own peril. Azaka and Iku have led expeditions to the jungle that have never returned. Farul and Gondola are charlatans plain and simple. Ode Hughes suffers from mad monkey fever, I'm sure of it. Misharabu is an albino dwarf and they're not to be trusted.
Wow.
That's racist. And I hear tell that River Mist and Flask of Wine owe money to Zintarum. 5 gold pieces a day is a cheap price to pay for your life. Spend your gold wisely. Why do I feel like she's running for political office?
Just mudslinging everywhere.
I was going to say, that was a lot of shade.
That was a political commercial.
Yeah. That was
Azaka
horrible.
last in her class, Stormfang.
Salito approves this message.
Little man Musharib says he can take you to the mountains, okay.
Oh, please stop. Please stop.
However, she mentioned our final guide option,
I see that. River Mist.
River Mist and Flask of Wine.
Oh, cool.
I like wine.
Yeah, by the way, based on hers, she would not want a down payment. You could pay at the
Interesting.
end.
So far, that makes two that don't want a down payment. That's Musharib and Salida that do not require a down payment.
Yeah. And the group of the Triceratops are willing to work on shares.
Okay.
Of course, with Musharib, if we pick him, we have to help him out with the fire newts.
Yeah.
Anyone want to read this one?
I don't know. This
I
one's
heard
name is
Casey,
Flask.
he hasn't
It
gone
already
yet.
sounds like a winner.
No, I'll do it.
I love Tabaxi names.
You-
All right, go for it, Drew.
Okay. Beware, Jobal, and there's no good flunkies. That merchant prince is as trustworthy as a sack of snakes, as are most of his guides. If you choose us, we will never lead you astray. River and Flask are up to the task. That's our motto. Cholt is our playground. We're fast, reliable, we know what we're doing. 5 gold pieces per day and a 30-day advance is what Jabal's flunkies demand. We're happy to serve as guides for only 4 gold pieces a day with no payment up front. Even better, we'll waive the fee entirely for equal shares of whatever treasures we help find.
So
Now they got
those.
my attention.
Yep. So that is all of our guide options. I feel like they have a billboard somewhere, like a very like Tommy Wiseau style.
Sure.
So far, this is like my favorite pitch yet, because just it's so entertaining. But
They have a slogan. Everyone needs a slogan.
True. They're good
River and
salespeople.
Flask are up to the task.
You know, Joe, they may very well work for Skooma. I don't know. Are we allowed to say that? Is that trademarked?
I don't know.
I have no
Got
idea.
spice.
How fast can we get monetized?
Brody Spice.
Do you even spice though?
Critical Role won't sue us. They're rolling in that Kickstarter money. It's okay.
They got plenty to spare.
I don't know how much
Love you,
money
Travis.
we have collectively, but we do have the possibility to go to the church and collect some money. So.
Oh yes, that's right.
They're just giving out. Are we poor people? Are we getting money from them? From the
Well,
church?
you know, I don't do anything for free, so I had to ask, for a little assistance, just in case.
All right.
We needed to pay some people, and who does things for free these days? We need a little bit of a financial compensation up front.
Man,
You sound more like these guides.
I'm a fan of the cats. I'm gonna have to check them out.
Yes. Okay. So I think my favorites are Musharib, these guys, River Mist and Flask of Wine, and the other two,
Farul and Gondolo. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I
Yeah,
personally,
and
apparently, according to Dr. Zola, she knows Farul and Gondolo almost personally. Casey, how much on a personal level would I know them?
I would say you probably hang out with Gondolo at the Lizard every once in a while when he can get the money, to talk about Hobbit stuff or Halfling stuff rather. So just someone for you to talk to about culture and things you like to talk about. Roll a d20 for me.
Just a straight D20?
Yeah. It wouldn't be the first time that he seems to have lost his wallet at the bar and left you to pay the tab. He seems to be down on his luck more often than not.
He forgot his wallet, yeah.
Yeah.
Which that's kind of making me nervous. If they're such good guides, why are they so
Why are they
hard
down
up?
there? Yes.
Which Casey did explain that they're kind of new here, so maybe they're like trying to make their way and stiff competition, but still, that does make me a little nervous.
I mean, maybe they just drink more than they, make. That's all.
That's true.
Well,
Who am I to judge their drinking habits?
Oh, the joys of finding the right subcontractors.
Right? I was playing the game. I didn't know I was going to work. But I do like Moose Reeves. He's got motivation to go out there.
I'm in favor of Musharib.
He's got motivation to go out there. I do feel like he's only going to take us there because that's what he wants.
well, here's some things if it sounds like we're weighing now between River Mist and Flask of Wine and Musharif is both are going to charge for 5 gold pieces a day.
Mm-hmm.
The two tabaxis are asking for the 30-day in advance.
No, actually, they're not.
No,
I
they're
read it again.
they're 4 gold a day.
They were saying
They
that
said-
other people, that's the standard.
So
but
that's what
they
Jabal's
don't charge
flunkies
upfront,
demand.
And it's 4 gold.
Oh, okay.
And they'll waive
Then
it
even
completely.
better, as long as we share with them what we find, then they'll waive the fee entirely.
Correct.
That is, if we find them.
Yes, if we find any. On the other hand,
Which they must feel pretty good that they can find it. If they're willing to forego that fee and upfront and all that. If they're willing to go out there and just be paid in shares.
You never
I
know.
don't know. I kind of get a vibe a little bit that they're just being fast talkers from this little.
Could be.
Ad.
Maybe they're more of a salesman than a guide.
I don't know though. Musharib looks like he might very well be summoning some crazy monsters.
Well, I mean, at the same time with Musharib, if we choose him, we're gonna kind of have to help him with his fire new problem.
Well, that is the thing. It sounds like it's a choice. We can either pay him the money or help him in his task, and in return, he will help us.
Oh, that's a good point.
So that's another.
So that-
that would be a potential side quest here.
Obviously, it seems he needs the help, but it did sound like he would, if we just paid the money. he would
I
do
have
it.
approximately 29 gold, so
Did,
factor that into what you
Rain, don't I recall that Syndra gave us some funds?
We
Wasn't
haven't
it like
picked it.
100 gold?
We haven't picked it up yet though.
Oh, okay, so we do have to go to
Yeah, we have to go to the temple to
the
receive
temple.
the funds.
Okay.
I'm leaning. I think my vote's going to be for Musharib. That'd be a good side quest, good experience, and
I think it would be. I would think it would be very worthwhile as well.
and who knows, this fee might come down or go away if we're successful in helping them.
Yeah, and I mean we
What-
also, as a note, don't know where we're supposed to be looking, so it might not hurt to get a little bit of pocket change. You know, go explore with this guy and see what we find. See if we can find some more information.
Yeah.
Casey, what's my personal relationship with Musharib?
You don't really know much about him other than you've seen him around. He's kind of an oddity.
Okay. So even on this island, like an albino dwarf is a very rare, uncommon thing.
He doesn't talk much, especially not to humans. You might have at some point, and that would be up to you. Maybe you've tried to talk with him and ask about albino dwarves, and he's just been screw off.
I mean, I guess I wouldn't pester him about it, because I'm more about just keeping to my own studies, but more along the lines I've seen him walk around and stuff, so mind our own business for each other, but it does kind of sound like I would prefer this guy over everyone else.
We can always talk to him and decide to not use his services.
Yeah, I mean we can always go get a feel for people too and just see.
Yeah.
That's
Absolutely.
true. You can definitely interview people, and you also still have just as a reminder, you were still advised to speak with Wakanga Otamu,
Oh, yes.
and that he would probably have some advice for you.
Okay. I'd say, yeah, we definitely go pay him a visit first before anything else.
Okay, so let's.
Was that the guy that was at the church?
You haven't met him yet.
We haven't been to the church yet, so
I think he's unrelated. So let's go to the church and pick up our money, and then let's talk to Otamu, and then maybe interview, depending on what he tells us.
I like it.
I think that is a good plan for the day.
I see on your resume it says you are fluent in Chultan. That's good.
Is that?
Y'all gonna make me work tonight, being
Yep.
interview people.
that's right.
Is this how you
Alright.
dress for an interview? It's a demerit.
Interviews, Twitch, they're kind of the same.
All right, I'll buy that.
You sit at the table with the webcam and you don't wear pants.
Develop strong
Ew.
That's the only way to do it.
team building experiences.
Alright, so we're going to the halls of Joaquin, correct?
Correct.
So the next place you find yourself is a magnificent temple. As you walk up to it, there is a gorgeous fountain in the front. That seems, or no, sorry, wrong place.
How
Gold?
The halls of gold.
Yeah, it's the Halls of Gold.
Yes.
On the map, that's number 21. So,
We do not have numbers on our map,
oh, it is right.
but we have a green word.
We
that
have it
wrote last
labeled.
time.
Yes, you do.
From last.
Oh, we already have it labeled. That's right.
That's even better. So you walk up to this large golden temple.
stupid allergies.
It is next to the Colosseum as well, which is interesting. The two businesses seem to get along. The Colosseum and it both stand on the tops of a hill, and they're connected by a large stone bridge.
Huh.
There's also
Oh,
a
I see.
fairly decent defensive wall surrounding the district that houses the Halls of Gold. For the more battle-minded of you, you would gather that this is probably one of the more defensible places in the city. Which makes sense, because it's where they keep all the money.
I suppose, yes, that makes sense.
And when you walk in, it's very much like a bank. There are rows of kind of kiosks with barred windows and various priests working, exchanging money, discussing possible loans, such things as that. As you walk in, a priest of Joaquin, a halfling man with a shaved head and a kind of golden circle on his forehead and wearing gold and silver robes, walks up and says, "How may I help you?"
Do I know this guy?
Roll a d20.
We are here to make a withdrawal.
I don't know what happened to my notes. They're gone.
You've seen him around, Dr. Zola.
Okay.
You are here to make a withdrawal. I have seen her before, but I have not seen any of the rest of you.
Yes, we come under the employment of Sindra Sylvain.
Oh, Mistress Sylvain. Do you have any, proof, that she has sent you?
Do we have any proof that she sent us?
They want proof. They want proof.
Proof? There is no proof.
Give us a note? Why do I feel like she gave us a note?
She did give you a map with her signet on it.
Okay,
oh yeah,
that should
I
be
have
good
a
enough.
map. I pull out the map.
That's proof if I ever saw one.
And
Who
show-
is Jack Black? Oh my god, Jack Black went away. It has to be Drew. Interesting.
What?
I've never heard someone in the chat refer to you as Jack Black, Drew. Which is weird, because
Yes.
I've always gone with Guy Fieri.
Hi, Ferrari.
If you can't see his face, he sounds like dang, Will Ferrell's friend from Talladega Nights.
John
Oh,
Cena.
John Ferrari.
Yeah.
Although he does a mean Sean Connery.
He does do a mean Sean Connery, it's true. But anyways, the cleric ushers you over to a desk. The cleric ushers you over to a desk, and says, "If you could wait just a moment, I will go and get one of the higher up clerics, and surely we can work out this transaction." And goes away. As you wait, you see various changing of monies still, and you would know that this is a place you can come. If you ever have a ton of copper or silver, you can have it changed to gold here in exchange for a fee. They take a percentage of all transactions.
Taxation is theft.
Not important on Zaru. Well, kind of. Actually, Drew, you'd probably love this place. The government is literally just the 7 richest people. The people who do the best business become the government.
Yes. Capitalism. Who proves who is smart and who is poor.
Anyways, eventually, a taller Chultan woman comes up wearing similar robes, and she introduces herself. Hello, my name is Sibon Sine, and I am told you come seeking a withdrawal from Mistress Sylvain's account.
Indeed.
Interesting. Do you have any proof that she sent you?
I show them the map.
With the signet.
I show them the map.
Yes, this is indeed her signet. And why has she sent you to take money from her account? We do not often see Miss Sylvain.
We were sent out on an expedition to help find out more information about the curse that has been plaguing the area. We are working for her to try to find some answers to the problem.
Okay, and how much did she wish you to take? 100
gold.
I was gonna say, it was definitely 100.
Believe it was 50, so do me a favor and roll a...
It definitely was 50, but I'm definitely saying 100.
Yeah, roll me a deception.
I actually thought it was 100.
Roll me a deception check.
Oh,
you have 2 points of ID.
So I'm going to roll a insight check, I suppose. What would insight be? Wisdom? Yeah.
Yes. Right.
Oh!
100 gold, you say? Alright. Please take a seat, and we will be with you shortly. She goes off, and she does come back with a bag with, it would have 93 gold in it.
Perfect.
93.
Yes, 7% goes to the clerics of Joaquin.
Damn.
Yeah, I figured it was a percentage.
They are a bank.
Well, no, this is a withdrawal, so in this case, no. If you were changing money out, yes. But this is a withdrawal, so I guess not. So it would be 100.
Okay.
There's no withdrawal fees at your home bank. Now, if you go over to the Fort Belurian and you use one of their banks, then you may have a $3 charge. Just saying.
The more you know.
This is why everyone prefers using First Waterdeep Bank. Their fees are cheaper. They have great rewards.
Well, what's her app like?
What
is there like a magic scroll?
You know, are they?
Dadgummit.
I take the bag.
Cool. Yeah, you have 100 gold.
Wonderful. Well, that should be plenty of funds for a guide and supplies.
Yes. I will just hang on to this for expenses for the group.
I will need to come up with more defined rules for like what the exchange rates are at this place. But by the time you guys find your way back here, I'm sure I will have rules for that.
Okay, so next on our list is to
Wakanga!
Otamu.
We do not do that here.
Wakanga!
All right. So Wakanga is a little ways further into the city.
Okay.
His shop would be, let me get it real quick. He lives further north in the city in the Merchant's Ward, which is where Golden Throne is, which is where all of the merchant princes live. And well, the merchant princes' villas are part of it, and then Golden Throne is the like seat of government. But they are in kind of the same rough area. There also is the Grand Souk, which is where the largest of the markets is. And you can find that in the Market Ward on the north end of the city.
Can you put another label?
I shall.
That would be wonderful.
Yeah, here it is. Let's see.
You should be able to, like, if you have labels on the map already, you can move them to the player level, and then we'll be able to see them.
I will do that.
Fun spot. That's where the good times happen. Looks like a carnival.
All right.
It does, actually. So we're making our way over there?
Yeah.
So go.
Pardon me
I was absolutely right. Yes.
Our group is called Nerds of the Round Table. Real Forever Lucky.
As far as like our group of players, we haven't ironed out any kind of name yet.
we literally have
We've
just
only met
us,
yesterday.
So we don't have a.
I
we
DM
don't have a yet.
for certain members of this group, Guy Fieri, Jada, and my wife. We play a home game here at our house typically, and then I actually am a player in a game with Alex and where her husband DMs. So this is kind of two of my groups that I have merged.
Yes, families coming together.
We're a merger corporation.
I have a D&D addiction. Like, it's kind of a problem. I'm in like 7
my
groups. It's bad.
No, he has a serious problem, people.
Why do they make the place names on the DM layer? I wish the numbers and the place names were just on
Because
the map.
it's unrevealed information, and you can choose what gets shown.
Yeah, I guess that makes sense.
I
So,
guess.
Yeah.
Yes,
I
Guy
can see
Fieri's
that.
real name is Drew. You can also call him Thug Kitchen.
What?
That's his Twitch name.
We have
I
the
did
we have
not
the
know.
best names.
Pretty awesome, right?
Okay.
All right. So yeah, I unveiled the Merchant's Ward, and number 7 is the Grand Souk. Number 5
Oh, there's a number.
are the Merchant Villas. Make sure that's right.
That's so cool.
Lies. Number 7 is actually the Temple of Savras, deity of knowledge. Let's see. I need to find number 4 and 5.
Why are there 2 5s? I see 2 5s.
Oh, I do see 2 5s.
Which makes me think that one of them is probably a typo, maybe?
Or there's 2 entrances, and maybe that's to indicate.
Yeah,
the
there could.
entrances.
Yeah, one looks like by a bridge, and one might be a fancy.
Yeah. You guys are actually in the correct place. The big circus tent looking deal is actually the market.
Is this how we get to Flavor Town?
Okay.
Yes.
Damn it!
I had been wondering.
Face palm.
And then four is Golden Throne. Okay, I see. So number 5 is the Merchant Villa, and they're just spread out because they're not in the same place, which is how I originally interpreted that. So let's pick one to be Wakanga's particular villa, even though you aren't going there right
There
now.
are now 4 number 5s.
Yeah, because each one is one of the prince's villas,
Okay.
but they're all labeled the same number.
I'm
So
not
I'm gonna
remember
put
what these labels are anyways, so
yeah, I'm gonna
probably-
put
let's
a
figure out
number.
where we're at now, and let's just put some text on it, because I'm not gonna.
Yeah, I'm gonna put a big old W over it.
What's the name of the one that we're at now?
Number 6 is the Blah 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 blah. Hold on.
The
Marketplace,
got
I
it.
think
Blah,
so.
What a
its
name.
name.
Blah, blah, blah,
That's
blah,
its
blah.
official
blah,
name.
blah.
Must be exotic.
There we go. So the W is for Wakanga.
What is number 6 that we're at now?
Number 6 is the Market Ward. What's its exact name? Grand Souk.
Blah, 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 blah.
Bala la 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 la.
Is that S-U-K-E?
Yeah, S-O-U-K.
Oh,
Okay, I see the W.
okay, so we're not far from.
Yeah. However, his shop, Dr. Zola would know that he'd be at his shop this time of day.
Yeah, guys, don't bother with his villa right now. Let's go visit him in his shop.
Oh, let's go.
Shh.
Still
That was my dog. Sorry, y'all.
so bad.
She's not sorry.
She's mad because our other dog has the ball. That's why.
Why is the text so bad in this? It's so hard to read.
So we visited in his shop.
Nope.
That meme is dead real forever lucky.
I'm sorry, say again, Chelsea?
I'm talking to the chat.
Oh.
I know it seems like I'm talking to Real Forever Lucky a lot. However, that just means we need more viewers commenting so I can talk to everybody.
You're supposed to be DMing right now.
I can multitask.
There's literally no color that shows up over top of this border, so it's just going to be whatever this color is.
Maybe one day we'll be fancy and have moderators to talk to the chat for me.
Give the people what they want.
All right, so
Well, we got drawings. I must look at these drawings.
Cool. Oh no, it's begun. Drew found the drawing tool.
Oh no.
Drew, we are
No.
live.
Not again. Oh no.
I will put you in timeout.
I'm not even doing nothing.
The last time you said that, you drew a vampire.
It was a cool vampire, though.
That's true.
Yeah.
I mean, it was a cool vampire. Anyways, you find your
Stick
way
vampire.
to Wakanga Okatamu's shop.
Oh,
Which when you walk in, it's a well lit, clean,
So it's
wooden building. Like it's an actual store. A lot of these are stalls. This one is a storefront with a big glass window in the front. It's well laid out. And the shelves are lined in particular with various glass vessels of all sorts of shapes filled with all sorts of colored liquids. There is also a scroll rack on one wall. At the counter is this fellow.
All right.
My man, Wakanda.
Oh, hello, Dr. Zola.
Yes. How are you? How are you doing? How's business?
It is going as well as one can hope. Now, what brings a lovely lady like you into my shop today? And I
Oh,
see you
yeah.
have friends.
You're such a flatterer. Yes, these are my new friends. Everyone, this is Wakanga Otamu. If you wouldn't just go ahead and introduce yourselves.
hello. I
Yes,
am
go ahead and
Rain.
introduce yourselves.
I am Rain. Hello. It's nice to meet you.
It's good to meet you, especially meeting someone so well dressed. I appreciate it.
Well, thank you. Have to
And
s-
what about you,
Ooh.
my dear? Pointing at Felix.
Orisa Felixis, or Felix for short.
Well, hold on, let's see if he does. I do believe I have seen you around, no?
Probably occasionally. My family lives in the area.
Well, tell your mother I say hello next time you see her. He says with a wink. Um, and you, druid, spellcaster.
Hello, I am Theron.
It is nice to meet you as well, Theron. It is nice to see so many customers in my shop. Welcome. I am Wakanga, if you do not know me. I am a purveyor of magical goods. Scrolls, potions, whatever you might need.
Guys, he's got the goods.
Oh,
And looking around the shop, he does indeed have the goods. Like, his place is well stocked with various potions and scrolls and anything one might need as a spellcaster.
Okay.
interesting.
Do I typically know Wakanga is kind of just like a straight businessman?
You've dealt with him before, and it's always been on good terms. He's never cheated you or anything. You know he is a businessman and takes things very seriously.
But he is an honest businessman.
To the best of what you've seen working with him or around him.
Yeah, and I'm kind of talking like, yeah, guys, he's great. He'll shoot you straight. I promise. He's the best you can find around here.
Of course I will shoot you straight. If that is a term I'm not familiar. I am a fair businessman. And would be happy to help in any way I could.
Oh, well,
We
that's
came to him for information.
good to find an honest businessman.
Information? What sort of information? That is often more valuable than anything on my shelves.
Well, you see, my friends here are looking to go into the jungle, actually, and you know, I've only spent so much time here in the city of Schultz, so they were looking to find a guide possibly for us to go into the jungle, and I only know so much, and of course you would have all the knowledge, so I knew you were the right person to go to ask about who we should take as a guide.
Do me a favor and roll a persuasion check with advantage.
Oh, with advantage, okay. When I first started talking, I wasn't trying to go for, but this won't be good.
You get advantage for flattery.
Okay, maybe.
Of course, a smart woman like you would, of course, go to a smart man like me for advice, especially on something as important as a guide. If you've never been in the jungle, it is, of course, very wise to take someone with you. And much depends on where you are going. What do you seek?
And I kind of turn back to friends, ask them.
Well, Wakanda,
Hmm?
we
Might be
actually were hoping
refresher
you might help
remember
us,
if-
point us in the direction
Okay.
a little bit. Miss Silvana.
Oh,
said
I
you
hear
might have
Joe,
some-
but I can't even hear him at all.
Hold on, one person at a time. Let Jada talk first.
You need to turn up that mic first.
Yeah, it's difficult because if I turn my mic up, then it gets really loud in stream.
Turn you up.
Miss Silvano actually said that you might have some information about where we would start, Wakanga. We are looking for the cure, or at least the root cause of this disease that's plaguing the area. And hopefully you might be able to point us in the right direction.
I had heard recently that my friend Sylvain was ill. I'm sad to hear this. And there are those around here suffering from similar ailments. So you seek... Well, does Sylvain have any idea where the cause might be?
He did not give us much information.
You may be playing him, I don't know. But Sylvain did tell you that Omu, the lost city of Omu.
Ah, okay.
I don't honestly have my notes from the last game.
Oh, okay. That's fine.
Lost City of Omu.
Well, if you are looking for a lost city that is, of course, a challenge, for it is, in fact, lost. I do not know the way to Omu. There you go. There you
Do
go,
you know
chat.
the way?
I do not know the way to Omu.
Use the
No!
queen.
Oh!
No,
No!
no.
Why? Ah!
My Bruda!
Everyone gets inspiration so that I have negative inspiration. Not really. Not really.
Oh,
Well, I've
Oh,
opened it up.
gosh.
you
Accept.
had to fit that in there, didn't you? Had to.
The DM takes psychic damage. But no, I do not know how to arrive at the Omu. However, there are many people here who could help you, I am sure. You are looking for someone who deals in secrets. I do not know any particular guide that knows the way to Omu, but I do know that there are many who have been farther out in the jungle than others. Let's see. Salida has often taken people very far out, hundreds of miles, in fact, gone for months. However, she has been known to pick her clients poorly, and often they are not up to the task of surviving the jungle. I am hesitant to say that is her fault, but you can take that as you will. Who else are you considering? And I can tell you about them.
What's it? Mushari?
We were
Mushari,
considering
yes.
Musharif.
Musharib. He is not a client of mine very often. A more fight martial type of adventurer. No need for scrolls and potions. But he is honest as far as I know. A bit of a temper, does not like those who are not dwarves.
What do you know of River Mist and Flask?
River Mist and Flask of Wine. No better people amongst the guides to spend time with at a tavern. They are well versed. They are well versed in the jungle. They know their way around, and more importantly, they know how to be quiet, both in the jungle as they sneak around, and also knowing to keep their mouths shut.
That is an important trait, as
Interesting.
perhaps we should.
Sounds
seek
like
them
I'm
out.
starting to. Sounds like I'm starting to like the tabaxis a little bit more.
Yeah, I mean that's a pretty solid recommendation.
At least they're not discriminatory against anyone who's not a dwarf.
That's true.
Depending on your type,
2019. Come on.
you
Don't
might
need
also
to.
very much enjoy Iku. That old woman is a hardly type. If you are the virtuous type of adventuress, and I get the sense that at least some of you might be, she is a good woman who looks to do good for Cholt. And I'd be happy to put in a good word for you.
Well, Dr.
Yeah.
Zola speaks up and says, well, you see, a little bit of our problem, as it were, is, well, some of the guides that we have looked into asked for quite a hefty sum of a 30-day in advance payment, which we completely afford at this time.
Well, perhaps if you speak with them, and I would be happy to arrange a meeting, perhaps you could come to some sort of accord. Many of the guides, some of them even advertise such, look for people to accomplish tasks for them that one might not could venture on their own towards. Often if you perform a service for them, they will perform a service for you. And I believe also in the case of River Mist and Flask of Wine, they are more than happy to accept a share of any spoils found in the jungle.
Well, naturally, who wouldn't?
Well, that's another point in Musharib's favor, since he's the one that wants us to do a task for him.
I will be right back.
What else do we need to pull from Hannah?
Let's see. There's a couple he would recommend. I'm gonna roll for it.
Okay.
Amongst the recommendations and guides you have brought before me, I do think I would perhaps recommend River Mist and Flask of Wine. But I would encourage you to talk with them, as well as any others you might be considering.
Fair enough.
Well, thank you for your honest opinion. We will definitely.
There
take that
is
to-
also, I feel, you would have only seen the notices for guides based here in Port Nyanzaru, none for in the fort, Beluriand. I will show you. I have an ad for one other.
Oh.
Kawasha is a good man.
It's Oogie Boogie.
Let's go.
I was thinking that is it odds? What's that strange adventure? Somebody's strange adventure. It's an old video game.
Oddworld.
Oddworld, yeah.
It is very odd world. You're right.
It's Oogie Boogie before the cake.
God.
Let's see. Gawasha? That's an interesting name.
Kawasha, yes.
Kawasha.
Washa.
I, Kawasha,
Kawasha.
am a druid and member of the Emerald Enclave. I seek to rid Chult, my homeland, of the undead menace that threatens to eradicate all life. My Vegapygmy companion is well versed in the local flora and fauna. Chult is our home and we can guide you as no others can. Our fee is 5 gold per day, but that amount is negotiable if you are willing to help us destroy any undead we might encounter. Perhaps together we can receive the blessing of the Shawanga spirits that watch over this sacred land.
Ooh. This guy's a contender.
Yeah, and maybe that ties in somehow with our other quest with the resurrection issues.
Like, if he's all about undead goal, he'd be even more inclined to us.
Yeah.
I think we should definitely talk to this guy.
Agreed.
I'm just now getting back in. I'm sorry. But Casey, would
No
Dr.
worries.
Zola know this guy at all?
No, he's based out of the fort, and you probably don't go there. They probably wouldn't welcome you there. You're not a member, and you don't have like a guild affiliation to give you a reason to be there.
Oh.
I'm just not cool enough.
They don't take county of time around here.
You would know more or less that the Flaming Fist is sort of a you could consider them like an order of paladins, but not good paladins. Not good aligned even per se. They are very human first mentality. And they are not exactly affable to what they would call subhuman species, such as, well, anything that's not a human, dwarf, or elf, or halfling.
So basically none of us.
Actually,
I mean, I'm an elf, so.
you would probably
And I'm
be
a
okay,
human.
Rain, being what you are. Frank would have some trouble, perhaps.
He is a
He can
turtle.
wait outside.
Damn.
I'm just kidding.
Here, I can give you this for them.
Um,
They are based out of Baldur's Gate is where their headquarters is.
What?
They are here to pacify the territory and claim lost treasures, according to them. They plunder ruins. They work as mercenaries.
So, knowing all this and knowing this guy's from, you say the Fire Fist?
The Flaming Fist.
The Flaming Fist. Would I necessarily, based on that fact alone, be too keen on this guy?
I would guess that you probably would have reason to not care for this group.
I kind of figured, yeah.
But this guy's not necessarily a part of the group? Or
No,
because
he
he just lives
well,
there.
Wakanga would, hearing you ask.
Yes, Wakanda.
Yes. He is, Kawacha is not necessarily a member. He is with, a group known as the Emerald Enclave, if you are familiar. And you would be familiar with the Emerald Enclave. They're a group of druids and rangers. Very nature-based. For magic players, the Emerald Enclave is similar to, say, the Selesnya Guild of Ravnica.
All right. That could be a group that I'm definitely behind on, you know. Being that I am a ranger myself.
Yes.
Didn't you say I wasn't a part of a guild, but there was somebody that my family
We have some wonderful illustrations that I have
had
to show off.
at least ties to? Am I remembering that?
You would be not unfamiliar with a group called the Harpers.
That's what it was.
Which is essentially like a spy network. Think like the Kingsmen from the movie Kingsman.
That's right. You can find that.
Here, I can actually show you real quick as well the emblem for the Flaming Fist, should you ever run across it again.
Oh, well, that's obvious. Okay.
Well, yeah, okay. Pretty self-explanatory.
Right? Who would have thought it'd be a Flaming Fist?
How creative!
You know, it's on brand. On brand.
Brand recognition, I guess, yeah.
So I suppose we should figure out which god we're going to go with and see if they know any information on how to get to the city of
Omu.
Because it doesn't seem like we have a direction at the moment, so...
Before you leave, also as well, if you are going into the jungle, I may actually have a job for you. Make some of that gold you need.
I'm always interested in making some gold.
I do believe you have a map, correct?
Yes.
Let me see. Recently, I came across this, and he pulls out an old, tattered book. It's heavily water damage. It looks like, as he pulls it out, and he's very careful with it. He unwraps it from some paper. It's got a green kind of like wood cover with leather bound around it. And he carefully opens it up. This book belonged to an adventurer who was here recently. I did not catch his name, a wizard. Unfortunately, he did not make it back. However, when he was here, he talked on and on about a companion of his, called a shield guardian. A large mechanical man, a construct. Very valuable to a man like me. I would be happy, of course, to pay you handsomely should you find the shield guardian, as well as the amulet that controls it, which I assume is wherever the wizard died.
Dr. Zola speaks up and says, so, is it safe to assume that the shield guardian, that this is called, too far from the, as it was, his master, if you would, or the amulet itself, would he be too far from it?
It is hard to say where they could be.
What was this wizard's name?
His name, I believe, was Vorn. No, that was the shield guardian's name. I apologize. I did not actually catch the wizard's name.
Do you know where he
is
was
the only way to
seen?
control this guardian with an amulet?
Yes, with a specific amulet created at the same time as itself. What I can do is I am able to mark where where the journal was supposedly found.
Well, that'd be a good start.
And he does so. And I will get back to you on that. It's quite a ways out.
But surely, though, if we do come across it, we'll definitely check that out, for sure. I mean, after all, you're already wanting to pay us so handsomely, but the thought of adventure alone, and thank you for sending us on this quest and that you're trusting us enough for this.
Aw.
You are very welcome, Doctor.
That was
And
a long, dramatic pause.
Sorry, I was looking something up. And should you find this amulet and the shield guardian, I will pay you handsomely, and I will also award you with a spell book that belonged to the wizard.
That could be
So
useful.
then, wait a minute. Dr. Azola speaks up again. Like, wait a minute. If we know that the wizard is dead and he died somewhere in the jungle, how do you have his spell book?
Like I said, my dear, one of the adventurers found it and sold it to me.
Probably didn't know what he had.
That is probably very true, which is their problem, not mine.
Fair
Well,
enough.
all right then.
Always remember, I will buy, no returns.
Well, of course, Wakanga. I never forget that.
And if you like, I can actually at this point, real quick, I'm going to take you over to the map of Chult.
Okay.
And I will unmark a particular portion because he's going to unlock a hex for you basically. And I don't know if you guys have seen this map yet. This is what our map of Chult looks like as a whole. And anytime you move into a square, I will clear it out so that you can see that square. For the completionists among us, it is don't expect to clear this whole thing.
No.
I mean,
yeah, that bothers me since I'm such a completionist, you know.
But that does look like pretty good size. I mean, that looks like the UK, like the whole country.
It really does.
Each tile is a mile. Or 10 miles.
You've
10
clearly
miles, I mean.
never seen my Final Fantasy games.
Oh, each tile is 10 miles.
Must go down every corridor.
And that's probably about a day's worth of walking.
You can cover walking a tile a day.
Yeah, so
I
10
think,
miles a day walking.
Yeah.
Jeez.
You make this sound like a challenge, Casey.
We'll double check that. It might be a little more than that.
I was gonna say, I feel like 10 miles is not that much.
I guess it depends on terrain.
True.
I mean, walking through a field, we could probably do more, but if it's uphill through the woods and all that.
That is true. It is jungle,
Mountain range,
right?
yeah.
So I put a purple square around the location where he says...
And we are currently at the top of the map? In Port...
Yes. Nianzaru, yes.
Okay.
Oh, I see it.
So it's not terrible. I mean, it looks like we'll have to go by there anyway to get pretty much anywhere.
At least it's not all the way up in the mountains. Or
Yeah.
Sky Lizard Mountains. It's just in close to
We
Mist
should
Cliff.
avoid this area right here with this big death symbol.
Yeah, probably a good idea.
So this is the map Syndra Sylvain gave you as well. You can kind of consider like all the things that are blank or with tiles over them as actually being blank. Right? So it's like
unexplored.
Yeah, what you can see is drawn and then the rest is just blank paper.
Ooh. This does sound like a challenge.
Oh, okay. So that's as far as anyone in the region's mapped. So, like, literally completely unexplored.
At least on Sylvain's map. Maybe someone else has. Maybe someone else would have a better map. But this is what you have.
Gotcha. That makes sense.
Well, that is a location we will have to check out.
Let's double check the travel times, because that's pretty important. I want to go ahead and let you guys know exactly how we're going to handle that.
Yeah, because I think we are going to get to the point. I don't know if we'll get it today's game, but definitely next game. It
One
sounds like
hex
we're going to
is
be
10
leaving town.
miles, so
It won't be long before we get to that point for sure. I will say you can actually purchase a canoe.
so that's 11 days travel.
If you guys wanted, just so
Okay.
you know, a canoe would cost you 50 gold.
It's not cheap.
But it could
For
hold all.
canoe?
Yeah, one canoe would hold all of you.
Oh, okay. So this is I'm not messing around kind of canoe.
Yeah, it's a sizable vessel.
Can we put a sail on it and kind of make it like a little Viking thing?
For
Can
flavor's
I
sake, you
polymorph it into
certainly
a
may.
corgi? Oh, wait a minute.
That's backwards. Megan hasn't said anything.
Nope.
Must be okay.
Which I don't know. I mean, it looks like there's two rivers going like due south and then southwest from the port we're at.
But the thing is,
The
like,
canoe could
what do we
come
do
in.
with the canoe when we stop and go to land? Do we just drag it onto the beach?
Yeah, it's more of a hindrance.
So in a day, a character can move 24 miles at average pace. You can
Okay.
move faster, but you get a -5. You can move 3, or really it's going to be 3 tiles either way. There's no point in moving at a fast pace, really, because the difference is 6 miles.
24
And
miles?
it's
You said
gonna be
24 miles a
3.
day?
Yes.
So a
So-
little over 4 days, like 4.5 days to get to that square.
We're gonna walk a marathon a day in the jungle. We are stout.
I would probably even say
Diabetes,
That does
we
sound
were
like a
ready.
lot.
because fast should have a benefit. I'm gonna say that normal is 2 tiles a day,
All right.
Okay.
and fast is 3 tiles, but you take a -5 to wisdom. You can also choose to do a forced march, which would get you even further. But you would have to roll Constitution saves or else risk, like words. Words are hard. Exhaustion. Yeah,
Gotcha.
exhaustion.
That's
Moving through the jungle might very well add some slowness to that as well, right? Like you're
Mhm.
going through like thick jungle.
Not to mention how humid it is and the air and everything.
Yeah.
It'll probably make it a little bit harder to breathe.
Yeah, I think that's fair.
Let's see if the book has any supplements, because that's what's in the standard rules. I want to see if the book changes the movement speed stuff at all. Just real quick.
Or it's jungle, right?
This is one of those things where I'm just pulling out the paper copy. It's just easier sometimes. For those watching that might want to run this adventure, you can definitely do it using only the Roll20 stuff. But if you have the paper book, it's very handy to be able to just look things up too.
Yeah, a lot of those, like the basic stuff, is all built into the software. Like travel times and stuff.
Yeah. I'll tell you what, for now we're going to do 2 squares a day walking, 3 squares doing fast travel. A canoe will take you...
We're not going to be able to fast travel. I'm going to be over encumbered always.
That's definitely a thing.
What are you over encumbered by?
Put down the spoons, Joe.
It was a
You
Spyro.
don't need them all.
It was a Skyrim reference. I'm always over encumbered. I'm gonna have a bunch of cheese wheels.
Wheels, did I hear that right?
Yep.
All right, so
Jada has a problem. He's a klepto.
I mean,
He takes everything.
one playthrough that I played of Skyrim, I had a room full of cheese wheels. The other playthrough, it was wine bottles, and I actually broke the game in that one because There were so many wine bottles in my house that the house wouldn't load anymore. So if you
For
tried
no
to go into my
reason.
house, my game just crashed.
Okay, now I'm seeing the difficult terrain stuff. I'll double check this again later. So I'm gonna change this up a little bit because we need it needs to be a reason to take the river, right? If that's an option, there needs to be a
Yeah.
benefit to it because you're spending money.
Right.
Moving on foot would be a square a day. I may give you guys let it be 2, like cancel the difficult terrain if you're walking the coast.
Okay, that's fair.
So walking along the river, leaving adjacent to the river will be a square a day. Taking the
Gotcha.
river will be 3 squares a day.
Okay.
Nice.
And I'll write something up for that as a reminder.
Yeah, if you
Okay.
later on, if you want to do a handout, that would be awesome.
Yeah, I'll make one.
And then we
That's
can
a
add
good
it
idea.
in the software.
And here's a paper map of Chult for our individual map of Chult for anyone to see.
Yes.
So you can add that to your handouts.
Oh, cool.
Woo! That's a lot of blank space.
Yeah.
Dr. Zola likes more territory.
A lot of blank space, but I prevail.
So,
'Cause
Go
I've
ahead
got
and-
a blank space, baby.
Megan.
Hey, you pulled jokes all night. I don't want to hear it.
what other things do you guys think we need to pick up before we head out? We probably need to get some more food.
There are lots of options, and if you like, I can, just to save time, because you could wander the city looking for the things you need.
Uh-huh.
Well, let's just start there. Tell me the things you need, and then you can roll an investigation check for like other useful things that you might not have thought of.
Food,
All right.
water, probably a tent
I would not worry about the
be-
food and water.
Would
I-
would be okay. Do you have the ability to create food and water?
I can find it in the jungle.
Maybe we should get
Yeah.
a small amount just in case.
He got that
I-
druid
With that.
hook up.
Oh, so he don't trust me? That's fine. He's going hungry. I'm gonna eat wild game, have a feast, and you can have your MREs. I don't care.
I mean, I just met you. I don't know you that well.
What if there is no water
And
or game to find? Then
I
what?
cannot starve. I'm well too. I just cannot be
Dainty.
starving. Cannot do it. Also, probably a tent. I don't have a tent. I don't know about you guys.
Tents are definitely doable.
And I'm gonna need some bug spray because I can't do these bugs.
I was going
Yes,
to say, remember
actually.
when we walked through, there were people advertising for bug spray.
Dr. Zola says, yes, you're definitely going to need it.
Yeah, it sounds like we need like a Walmart, just base or like a hardware store, just general goods. It doesn't. I don't
We
think.
are the merchants.
So Joe, a tent would cost you. A 2-person tent costs 2 gold.
Do they have bigger tents?
For the sake of argument, we could say for 4 gold you could get a 4-person tent.
How many?
And
of
so
those
on and
are
so
there?
forth.
There are
You could probably
5?
easily buy 3 of them within town. At
Do
least.
we want to buy individual tents or do we want to just get a big tent?
Honestly, I'm okay. Dr. Zola is just fine to sleep under the stars.
Well,
That's
I'm
what she
gonna
does
get a tent.
normally anyway.
You can
I would
sleep
like
out there with the
tents.
bugs if you want to.
Maybe you're just picky.
Insect repellent?
You said 2 gold for a tent, right?
Yes.
Yeah,
For
I
a
will
2-person tent.
get it as well. Take that out of first.
Okay. Insect repellent comes in 2 varieties. You can get a block of incense that will burn for 8 hours and repel normal insects within like about 20 feet, right? It burns for 8 hours, and that would be good for like at a camp. The other option is you can get like you see people selling these orange gourds with the top kind of broken off and then plugged with cork, and when you open it up, it's like a salve. That salve is good for 24 hours of bug resistance. It's also waterproof, so it doesn't wash off when it rains or if you have to jump in the river.
Yes. How much is that one?
1 gold for 20 applications.
Sold.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I'll
Okay,
buy
so
one too.
20 days. We don't know how long we're going to be gone.
I don't... Salve doesn't show up in the compendium, so I don't know how much that weighs or anything. So we're just gonna...
Also,
ignore
Casey,
it.
I don't think you ever gave me starting gold because I don't have any.
You got equipment instead.
1 gold.
Oh, okay.
Oh, actually,
So if someone's gonna be nice to buy me bug spray or something, bug repellent.
Oh, that's
yeah.
true. So, so we don't know how long we're going to be gone, and then we all need some.
Yeah, I'll buy a second one. I got you, Megan.
Thank you.
Let's.
and then probably like an extra week of rations.
That's probably not a bad idea. I know me personally, now I have up to 11 days of rations, but it probably wouldn't hurt to get another week just for the whole party.
Guys, I promise we will get to combat stuff as well, people who are watching. But a shopping episode never hurts.
So I found the shop. It's super
Yeah,
give me a
fabulous.
cost
There
on
were all
that,
kinds of
too.
sales.
There's for 7 rations.
I can also say at the same place you bought the salve, you would also be able to find rain catchers, which is like a 5-foot leather tarp with wooden leg frame. If you set it up, it'll gather 2 gallons of drinking water per inch of rainfall, holds up to 8 gallons. It costs 1 gold for one of these, and they weigh 5 pounds.
Lol.
Oh, 5 pounds. Still, that's okay.
I'm gonna be over encumbered.
I mean, would that? I guess
I
it depends
think-
on what kind of terrain we're going into. Would that be beneficial if we're going to constantly be moving?
I'm gonna buy one.
I
of those
think
too.
for shopping purposes, like Frank is gonna be. I'll just say that I think it's reasonable for Frank to be like, no, I can hold most of the things. That's quite all right.
Wonderful.
I think
I
That's
am.
probably fair.
I am very strong.
Always good to have a turtle around.
I am a tortoise.
A turtle. I'm
Get
sorry.
right.
My apologies.
Profiling.
Turtle is our word.
I probably just need some arrows. That's the one thing I'm low on.
Let me double check my supply.
I don't think I actually need anything.
No, I'm good.
Spells. Don't think so.
What size bundle do arrows normally come? Was it like 20, 25?
Arrows come in. Let's see, ammunition. 20 arrows for a gold piece.
Yeah, let me buy one of them.
Okay.
Please.
All of this simple stuff, they're just gonna have. If you guys start asking for crazy stuff, I might have you roll to find it.
I'll do invisibility.
Interestingly, magic items can be found here, but we're going to use the rules for magic items though, in that they're not quite so easy to buy. When you go to buy a magic item, there are some things that are just available. And if you want to go, there is a weapons shop that would sell some minor magic items. That I would warn you, you're probably not going to be able to afford right off the bat. For instance, Wakanga sells potions, common and uncommon. He also sells 1st and 2nd level spell scrolls. And Akene Afa, one of the other, who you're at one of her stalls right now, because she sells all of the rain catchers and salves and such. She's also the one who sells canoes. You can buy a +1 shield from her for 450 gold, or a +1 dagger or equila for 500.
Yeah,
Like we have that kind of money
I'm
right
not
now.
on that level.
Wait for a while.
I spent all of my money on clothes, so I don't actually have any money.
You would also see around the stands a menagerie selling beasts. Things like flying monkeys and thunder lizards.
Flying monkeys.
Who doesn't need a thunder lizard?
Are the flying monkeys rideable?
They are not that big.
They are monkeys.
Rain got excited and then quickly disappointed.
But they're adorable. Fly, my pretties.
Got like a leopard tail. That's kind of cool.
Now, I'll tell you what. If you want to buy like 10 of them and take the time to train them, you could have them. You could be like Pigeon Man from Hey Arnold.
I could open a monkey
Oh
shop.
my god. Oh my gosh, they're so cute.
Let's be honest. If we had flying monkeys, it would not be like Hey Arnold. It would be more like the Wizard of Oz.
Fly, my pretties.
They would be leaving out an attack formation.
Just sign back out and sign back in.
Oh, I
Same thing
do
you
see
did last
she's
Yeah, but it was good for like 2 hours. Megan lost connection. She's logging back in.
Yeah, it's no worries.
Roger.
So, if you guys are is that all you're directly interested in?
Yeah, I don't really have a lot of money to buy a bunch of stuff, so it's probably
Okay.
all I'm gonna be looking for.
Like we said before, buying a canoe is an option.
I'm still a fan of that idea.
I just don't know what we do with it when we're not near the water. Like, I'm not a fan of paying for something and then having to leave it somewhere.
So you could actually
You could leave it and hide it somewhere, and then that way, when we come back, if we
All of
backtrack,
the cameras are messed up now.
We can hide it somewhere.
Hopefully they get
we
fixed
can
when Megan
try
wants
and
it.
I'll carry it.
And at this point, yeah, Frank talks up again. How heavy is a canoe? I imagine I could carry one.
But do you want to just be carrying that around all the time? That seems like a lot of work.
it's good training. Puts hair on his chest.
Well, someone could help. Portage, that's the word for it. You can portage a canoe.
What's that?
That just means carry it overland. You could have like 3 people on it, and I would say Frank plus someone, or Frank could do it on their own. It would take 2 of anyone else.
I don't mind taking turns to carry it.
Rain looks very uninterested in carrying a canoe.
I mean, it triples our speed.
Our funds. I think we should find a guide and agree on a price or some kind of arrangement before we buy the canoe.
Makes sense.
Because we only really have 100 gold to devote to this, and we don't even know how long of a trip we're taking, how far it is.
Yeah, maybe after we get a little jingle in our pocket, something to look into later.
And that's definitely a thing too. Like, you guys can come back to town. Don't feel like you have to, like, go out into the jungle and never come back.
I'm getting some horrible echo from your side, Katie.
It's because I'm downstairs. I had to fix the internet for a second. I'm back, people. I'm going back up.
Hooray.
Baby, come back.
So I can blame this all on you.
Does seem legit. Did that fix my cameras? Yes.
Sorry, y'all. I just seen my for a second. Sorry about that. It kicked me off all of a sudden.
It's all right.
Video on the internet.
We're getting better. It's okay.
Yeah, no, this is definitely better technologically.
Than the first time, yeah.
Yeah.
Let's see.
So are we gonna go find this guide and talk to them then?
Yeah.
I think we probably, I don't know about you guys, but I'm interested in River Mist and Flask.
A flask? Oh, flask. I was like, a flask costs, but never mind.
Are you trying to sell people? That's wrong.
I'm not at work right now.
I'm kind of leaning towards them or the guy from the Emerald Enclave.
Yes, I would like to talk to both.
The Emerald Armclave guy is not in this town, though. He's at the fort.
Fort Belurian, which it's a little ways off in the other direction. It would take you a couple days to get there. You could also pay a messenger to send for him, and he could be there in probably 3 or 4 days.
Yeah, I guess that's quite a bit of time. Well, all right. I guess we can pay the Tabaxis a visit.
He could actually be there in 2 days because he could sail. They have a harp. It would depend on how much you want to pay a merchant. It would cost you a little. I would say you could send a messenger overland for like 2 or 3 gold to charter to have him sailed here in the course of 2 days would probably cost more like 7 or 8 gold.
Yeah, but eventually that's gonna start adding up. So
yeah, which is a bummer because I really like the sound of that guy.
I kind of did too.
Well, we can at least talk to the Tabaxis. See what's up with them.
I don't see why not.
Yeah, agreed.
I'm going to let you guys do the chatting with that. I'm going to go just double check that my kids are getting ready for bed.
Okay.
Go make sure they respect your authority.
That's
right. All right. So let's go talk to River Mist and Flask of Wine.
All right, so this would work kind of a similar way in which you would kind of send for them. It wouldn't cost anything in this case because they're in the city. Most of the guides function on a sort of commission sponsorship setup where they have to work through one of the merchant princes, specifically the merchant prince. What is his name? There's a specific prince they have to work through, and that is Jobal.
Yes, that's right. I remember now. I remember reading the descriptions for River Mist, the 2 Tabaxis, that they answered to a specific one, Jobal.
He also can you can hire mercenaries through him if you wanted some extra swords.
Let's put a pin in that for later, but yeah.
Yeah, I'm just letting you know. That's a thing you can do.
Okay.
So you can go to his stall and have these things set up, these meetings. River Flask our Flask of Wine and River Mist are not so easy to get a hold of. They are, but you can't get a hold of them that way. Instead, you kind of just get word out, and you hear back that they'll meet you at the tavern the next day.
Okay.
So.
Wait, which tavern?
The Thundering Lizard.
Because I heard there was more than one. I remember, so.
That's the one we're studying.
Okay. Okay, so the Thundering Lizard it is. Okay. Sounds cool.
All right. So, we could probably even start these today. Remind me, how many nights did you guys pay for at the Thundering Lizard?
I don't know if I did. Because I stayed. Well, it wasn't discussed whether.
I was gonna say actually.
Last time it cut off last time.
Well, that's my fault, and you got a freebie. For future reference, it will cost you 2 silver a night to stay at the Thundering Lizard.
Okay.
That's cheaper than my arrows.
What about for somebody like me who's skit broke.
It's 2 silver a night.
2 skid broke. How much are you making?
You
Cut
get
your
the
hell.
special discount of 2 silver a night.
Okay,
Well,
then I will
did
be
you get a
sleeping
tent?
out under the stars.
No, it's fine. I got your room.
No, I have a bedroll. I'm good. Don't you worry about it.
Like nothing. I got it.
Megan, this is how your characters die.
You gonna get
That
mugged.
is true,
Yeah,
bro.
actually, you think I would have learned my lesson from that, right, Allie?
This is
I'm thinking about
audience.
the
This
tree
is
now.
how Megan's first character died.
That
She
was my
decided
first character death, yeah.
she was like, I don't want to pay for a hotel room. I'm gonna sleep outside, and
Sleep
got
on the street.
murdered.
And
Viciously.
got stabbed.
Welcome to the Doom Vault mission.
A rough night.
This is why we can't have nice things.
Fine, I
is.
will accept your charity. Thank you.
That was a ranger too, actually.
Yes, it was! Ah! Yes, it was! Oh, no. No. Okay, yeah, I'm having flashbacks. Okay, I'll take up your offer, Allie.
We cannot lose Miss Frizzle Ranger
No.
yet.
Yet.
So,
Bum, bum, bum.
I still prefer Merida, but fine.
did you guys decide on a guide?
They were going to start
No, we were just about
doing
to...
interviews. So remind me the ones you were interested in, and we'll go through the list.
The 2?
Well, right now we're currently wanting to meet up with River Mist and Flask of Wine as the guys we really liked a lot. Are we still talking about the guy from the Emerald Enclave, or do we think that's too much to try to get him to come down here?
We're essentially paying for at least 2 days for free that they are just traveling to us. So
Yeah.
I don't know how
Yeah.
much.
Such
you
a
wanna
bummer
spend.
because he seems perfect.
Yeah. And there was also
I still think we should talk to Musharib, but
that was the other one, yeah.
that's just me. I don't mind if he's a little bit racist.
Yeah, I mean, I'm still interested in talking to him, and it'd be, if nothing else, a good side quest, pocket some coin, and
Yeah, I suppose.
so I'm not opposed to hearing him out if he's not a big old jerk.
Yes.
So who do we want to start with? Who walks in first?
Because we're going to
Kitties.
hear from them first. Yeah, the 2 kitty cats.
All right, so let's start there. So before too awful long, this golden and then another gray tabaxi walk in. Both are tall and lithe creatures, as you saw before.
Yes.
And
Are tabaxis common in Chult?
they're not uncommon actually. That's a good point. Tabaxi are naturally wanderers. They get around. And here especially, this is a good place for them. Because there's just so much adventure and so many like opportunities. Tabaxi do seem fairly drawn to this area, and these are no exception. Walking in first, about 5.5 feet tall, but very skinny, wearing leather armor and an eye patch over her right eye. Tabaxi walks in, followed quickly by a slightly shorter but stockier silver tabaxi with a long lynx-like tail. They sit down at a table and order drinks and seem to be waiting for someone to come talk to them. This is totally a Tinder date.
I know you probably
Not
already
imposed.
told me, but do you help remind me? Have I had much interaction with these guys?
Not really.
Not really. Okay.
Well, I guess, have you? You tell me. And if so, under what context? You tell me.
That's just the thing.
Drinking
I would
buddies.
probably say a little bit if they're like really well-versed guides into the jungle, and if they've had a lot of experience, that must mean that I've like run into them like once or twice in the jungle.
Okay.
I've probably shared like maybe at least one time I shared a camp with them, but like it was them among another group that they were guiding into the jungle, and they happened to be close to the village I was studying. So that maybe like a couple, like they know of me and I know of them.
Okay.
Who's to say they'll remember my name? But
Well, I'll buy that. That'll work fine. And so they do see you kind of standing over there, and one says, "Oh, hello there. You the ranger? I've seen you before. Are you who sent for us?"
I'm one of the few that sent for you. Yes. You are River Mist and Flask of Wine, I presume.
Yes, that would be us.
Yes. Pleased to meet you. I believe we may have met before, actually. Did you happen to be near a halfling village recently?
Halfling village? There are no halfling villages here.
Oh, so you think?
So we should clarify that, Meg.
Yeah, actually, tell me now. Yeah.
Yeah. While you have spent time as an anthropologist around another culture, and we rolled for that, and it was halflings, that would probably not be in Chult. That would be somewhere else.
Oh, okay. Yeah, you should. Yeah, you should clarify that. But still, yeah, it's like, um, then let me rephrase that a little bit. It's like, let me start over and say, I believe we may have met before. We may have shared camp at least once or twice.
Oh, yes, perhaps I do remember that.
And I hold up my hand enthusiastically. Dr. Zola Cream!
It is good to meet you.
And I take the hand and just really shake the kitty's paw.
River Mist, it's nice to meet you again. I suppose you are the one who sent for myself and my friend.
Again, one of a few. I'm actually with a small group of adventurers right now. Everyone, and I gesture to them like, why don't you introduce yourselves?
I am Theron.
He's a man of few words.
I'll go and shake their hand.
Rain is over at the bar eating what I assume is breakfast.
And he accepts your handshake, cordially. And, nice to meet you. And,
Pleasure.
anyways, I assume if you have called for my friend and I, you are looking for a guide. Where do you wish to head?
We are looking for the lost city of Omu.
Omu. It is unfortunate that I do not know where that city is per se. But that does not mean I cannot help you. That we cannot help you. While we may not know the exact location of Omu, we know the jungle better than any other guide in this city. And if you wish to find Omu, we can help you find it.
Well, he's optimistic, if nothing else.
I am not
Hey, good
optimistic,
plan,
my friend. I am confident.
Well played.
And Flask of Wine kind of in a kind of a like a low kind of growl just says confident, yeah. Yes.
Well,
We'll do
they
some of
were
that.
recommended by Wakanga.
What kind of gear do they have on?
They are both wearing leather armor and have short swords at their sides.
Do they look
How many times have
battle
you-
worn? Flask of Wine has a short bow on their back as well. Actually,
how
they
many-
both do.
Hmm.
They look like they know how to handle themselves in a scrap. It wouldn't be their first fight. Now, I can tell you where I do know how to get to, and that was probably the best start. If you are looking to go to Omu, you must first learn the jungle, know how to survive, know how to fight in this environment. I am familiar with several locations around Chult. There is a tower south of here, known to many as Firefinger, an ancient vestige of the old civilization. It is
What is it
much
called?
Firefinger. Much
This
treasure
town
to
has
be
an
found
obsession
there.
with flames.
I pull out my map. Would you
And
show me where
appendages.
this is at?
That would come at the price.
Well,
You may mark it when I take you there.
the general distance from where we are is how long?
It would be, let us see. It would be perhaps about 100 miles from here. Down the river Teriki.
100
Bless you.
miles. That sounds
Yes, thank
quite far.
Well, Chult is quite
It's
large, and if you wish to find treasure, to find fame, you must be willing to travel, to search, in fact. We are also familiar with the city of Dungrunglung. Stupid frogs, I cannot say their words.
It's a mouthful.
It is a city, or what they would call a city, belonging to the Grung. Down again the river Tariki, a little farther than Firefinger. The Grung live there. Frog people. They have been pillaging travelers in this area for long and are likely to have a great deal of treasure. Getting rid of them would also stop people from getting harassed so much. You'd be doing a service. And finally, we are familiar with Mbala, spelled Mbala, if anyone is keeping notes. Mbala used to be a settlement far to the south along the river Soshenstar and down the Aldani Basin. Mbala was a town, but not any longer. Now it is a grave site. All the people there are dead, save for one. And it is my belief, our belief, that the one there is responsible for the undead that haunt Schult. It would please us greatly to go that way and eliminate this threat, the source of these undead.
Interesting. How long ago was the town destroyed?
Oh, many years, my friend. Umbala has been uninhabited for a great many years.
So a while, but not quite the lost city old.
It is a former Cholton city, yes, though it fell a relative amount of time after Cholt.
Gotcha.
That doesn't sound like it would be too far off from the type of thing we may be searching for.
What are you searching for?
Well,
What? When you say that, he kind of like perks up an eye. What exactly is it you seek in Cholt, in Omu?
perhaps you
What
have
is your goal?
heard of this curse that is plaguing the area.
Let's see if they have. Maybe?
I mean, with it being as widespread as it is, you think they would.
Let's see. Yeah, but like, if you know someone who's been brought back to life. And that's kind of an expensive, rare thing.
Sure.
Yes, I believe I heard something of some curse. One of the merchant princes is supposedly suffering under it.
Yes, one of the things we are in search of is to find the cause of this curse. And perhaps a
I
way
see.
to remedy it.
I see. Well,
Which merchant prince? Do you know?
It's one of a few. Just a moment. Let me think. Flask, if you could check your journal. Yeah, my journal. And Flask of Wine pulls out a book, like a little blue book, and he has a pen kind of tied to the front. And he starts going, and you see he keeps what appears to be notes. Let's see. It was either Queothe, the seller of fruit and wines and luxuries, or it may have been Jessamine, a cloth dealer. Also sells plants and poisons and assassins, some say. Where it is one of the two was brought back to life at some point, and it has decided not to stick.
All of a sudden, Flask of Wine's accent changes.
Oh, hush.
Dímelo.
Everyone's a creep.
Multicultural.
What do you guys think? I think I'm personally interested in checking out this settlement. I think it may provide some information that we may be interested
I agree. I feel of the locations they know, that one sounds the most related to what we're trying to do.
Agreed.
I suppose.
How far is the settlement from here?
Umbala is perhaps the furthest thing I know how to. It is along the River Star, and as the rock flies, it is at the sea. He pulls out his own, like, crudely drawn map. Like, you can tell he made it himself and is not an artist.
I somewhat glance over his shoulder.
It is roughly 150 miles from here. But along the way, we should encounter Camp Vengeance, or Camp Righteous rather, a good place to stop off for a time and gather supplies and regroup.
Okay.
Also, while he's doing that, I point on his map. There's this area here near the camp that we also would be interested in checking out.
Point at it again.
I'm not on the map, but I'm pointing to the area that.
Oh, you're pointing to the
Wakanda
place.
told us about.
Let's see if he knows that area. Wakanga with a G.
It's forever gonna be Wakanda now. Just
Forever.
Wakanda forever!
Just let it happen.
Yes, it will be Wakanga forever, I suppose. Goodness. Y'all gonna get us in trouble.
Copyright.
They can't
Man,
copyright
we're-
speech impediments.
Now we're talking about that Disney money. We may get sued. Oh, he definitely knows about that place. Yes, that mountain range. It's near Yelayark. Yelayark. I hate the names of these places. Yelayark does not favor Tabaxi dialects. Yes, that I believe is a goblin camp, or within a few miles of one.
Well, I guess we'll have to deal with that as we get there. Are they known to be a rambunctious type?
I mean, they are goblins. They are marauders.
So yes.
Okay.
And you are capable.
We are very capable. Or else we would not be alive.
How do you feel about carrying a boat?
You are funny. A boat is a wise way to travel. If we were to take a boat, we would be able to get within 20 miles of Umbala, roughly. I think. It would not be far to carry, but Flask and I are more of the stealth types. We are good at moving ahead and scouting. Perhaps someone with a different skill set would be better to carry things.
That's fair.
Well, guys, you're forgetting we already have our turtle, who's already offered to carry all this stuff for us graciously.
Frank is kind of like, I probably won't mind, but perhaps volunteering things for Frank is not wise.
Remember, I'm not the one who volunteered you, and I point to others.
I must consult the Heron, and we'll get back to you next time when I have my wits about me. Right now, I feel not quite myself, out of my shell, so to speak.
Yes. Oh, why do I love that?
All the turtle puns.
Okay, what else do we want to know from them? Compensation.
Compensation, yes. Well, of course, we are businessmen. 4 gold a day. Cheaper than you will find anywhere else.
I believe that to be true.
And I believe I saw in your ad possibly doing a shares of any spoils.
That would be true as well. So instead of paying us, we could divide and receive a sixth, or a seventh each, rather, of whatever treasure. There are 5 of you, 2 of us. Split everything 7 ways.
You must feel pretty confident that we could find decent stuff out there then.
There is often great riches to be found. It could either work out very poorly for us, or it could be a wonderful investment. It could be much more than 4 gold a day. It's also a gamble for you, my friend. You may end up paying us a great deal more.
Very true.
But the gods favor the bold.
Indeed. And
Alright,
not to them, to you, Casey. That they're the group that was just straight up 4 gold day. They didn't need the 30 days up front.
They are not asking for a down payment. You are correct.
Gotcha. Okay.
It is. They are sign and drive.
Do they do payday loans?
You know, they may.
Buy here, pay here. So I'm pretty happy with what I'm hearing from them. Of course, I'm still interested in interviewing the others, but so far they've piqued my interest. It sounds like we need to go. Sounds like we need to go down the same path anyway. You know where they're familiar with versus what we need to investigate.
Yeah.
I've heard all I need to hear. You guys
Alright.
need to investigate. I am okay with it.
And of course, if gold is an issue, one, of course, we will find great treasure, I have no doubt. There is also the option, however, of taking a few jobs. You can check the board here, and you will likely find jobs to be done. Things that people need done in the jungle, or even here in town, before you leave.
It's not a bad idea. Maybe we should look at our path, and then see if there's any jobs along the way.
Where would these job boards be at?
Right there. He points on the wall. There is a small board with some papers on it, not far from where the guide papers were.
I walk over and look at it.
On it, you find a few different jobs. You find, let's see. You find someone that says collect a debt, and someone basically says that a bookie who does bets at Executioner's Run, whatever that is, needs help collecting debts from people who made bets and did not pay up.
Alright.
You find one that says priest looking for escort to Camp Vengeance.
Now we're going to Camp Righteous, if anything.
Camp Vengeance?
Yes.
That's, do we have that location? We do not. I asked them how far Camp Vengeance is.
Camp Vengeance is actually along the way.
Okay.
Perhaps we could do that one.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Let's see. You see 3 more.
Okay.
You see, someone who wants a private meeting, an acolyte at the Church of Savris, wants to speak with a group of adventurers about a matter of life or death for the people of Port Nyanzaru, is what it says.
Oh my.
Life. Yes.
One that says Water Davian in Cholt seeking father, need help searching the jungle.
I was like, are they looking for a dad?
No, they're
That's
looking.
what I was reading it
Because you were
too.
like seeking father. I was like, what?
We are now on Fantasy Craigslist.
Mother looking for a daddy.
And finally, hunt pirates. And it literally says just hunt pirates in big letters, and it says Harbor Master Zindar seeking brave adventurers to ride the waves and slay the marauding scourge.
That sounds pretty intense.
That sounds exciting.
And this is the only one that lists the money. A bounty of 2,000 gold for each pirate ship that is delivered back into port. A bonus of 500 gold for the capture of each pirate captain.
That's a lot of money.
I feel like that one might be above us right now.
I mean, that could be our new job. I mean, we don't have to investigate nothing.
We could just be
We
pirate
just
hunters.
hunt pirates.
It does give a list of. I mean, that's definitely. This could turn into a pirate game.
Yes.
It does give a list of some ships of note. Pirate ships they are looking for include Dragonfang, the Emerald Eye, and the Sturge.
Arr.
Not the scourge, the sturge.
That one might be one we have to check out a little later.
That one does sound like fun, but yes.
There are more, but I'm not going to give them all to you right now.
Oh, that's fine.
If you were to come back to Cholt, to Port Nyanzaru, you would likely find more quest options.
All right.
I think we could
All
probably
right. Well, the
do
first
the
two
escort
definitely
mission.
sound doable. Collecting debts and escorting the priest.
We could also find out what this matter of life and death is and see if it coincides.
Yeah,
with our stuff.
that could be.
At least find out
something
what
there.
it is.
True, I agree. We could at least do that. I think for our Tabaxi friends, let's just say we'll be in touch.
How would we get in contact with you if we wish to arrange transportation, navigation into the jungle?
We have an apartment here in the city. Should you wish to speak with us again, you may find us there. And he gives you an address, located in the southern end of the city. Not the higher end by any means, but also not necessarily like a poor district. Like it's in. Yeah.
Okay. Well, we are going to gather some information, try to prepare ourselves before we head out into the jungle, and we will be in touch.
Some more funds.
For certain. So where are you headed?
I guess we want to find out about this matter of life and death. At least I do.
Matter of life and death, yeah.
I'm
All right,
curious.
and that's at the Temple of Savris, which is not far from the market, where you were at Wakanga's temple. It is the number 7 on the map, and I'll go back to the map now.
I'm the map, I'm the map.
Numero 7. Alright, let me get my map fixed.
Another thing I would love it if they added is if I could click on the token for the number and it brings up that section.
That would be pretty cool.
You have to. You should be able to move it to the layer that players are on, the token layer.
No, like if I could open up the info on that area. Like if I click on number 7, it would bring up the Temple of Savras text.
If it's linked to that token, you definitely can.
Yeah,
But
it's
only if
not
it's
at the
linked.
moment.
You said number 7?
Yes.
Okay.
I don't know
That
how to
may
spell
be
it.
something for me
S6
to
is
play
what
with.
What I'm doing right there. Boom. Don't know. Close enough. New temple. Who dis?
Yeah, it's close enough. You're good, Drew.
Okay.
And we'll do that. We'll do this little bit, and then I think that's probably a good place to call it for tonight.
Okay, cool. I was about to say.
Yeah, we've run a little longer than I think we intended, but that's okay.
No, I
And
don't
next-
mind. That was a good time.
And it gets us to the exciting stuff next time.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, we can finally go in the woods.
Man,
Game
you ain't ready.
to notes. I'm saving it. This
So you-
time.
So you make your way to the Temple of Savras. This building, Savras is a deity of wizards, fortune tellers, and diviners. So like soothsayers. The symbol on the side of the building is a large, monstrous eye in a crystal ball. And that's on banners draped across the outside of this old, like, austere-looking building with a tiled roof, like, dome inside. Like, it looks very like Hagia Sophia. Almost looks like an eye staring straight up into the sky.
Probably.
As you approach in, again, several like clerics walk up and just, yes, how may we help you today?
Oh, were we continuing? I didn't realize. I thought we were wrapping.
Oh, sorry, we can end it right there.
Yeah, I
Just on
think
the-
that would be probably a good spot too.
Yeah, just on the cleric saying like, how may we help you?
Okay, cool. That sounds good.
And we'll see
Okay.
what the Temple of Savras has to offer next time on Dragon Ball Z.
So, for those of you that
I mean,
tuned
copyright, remember?
in, yeah, we
Man.
break all those copyright rules like every game, so it's just gonna happen. For those of
Yeah.
you that tuned in tonight, thank you, and thank you for the follows.
Thank you.
Yes,
we
thank you.
Yeah, for real.
consistently-
And like we said, we're kind of getting through the part of the like setup part of the game. So next time we should start seeing some combat and some going through the jungle, and maybe one of them will die. Who knows? We'll see.
Schedule-wise,
Not
we
me.
are going to be consistently streaming on Wednesday nights at around 8:30 p.m. Central Standard Time. All of our videos for this particular game will be uploaded to our YouTube page, which I will be adding a link into the details below, and that way you guys can watch them if you miss them. And we also stream some other stuff throughout the week, like random Magic the Gathering games. We also sometimes still stream like Path to Exile or some other just dungeon crawler type games.
Yeah, I am planning to start a new game on Twitch. I have not decided yet, but maybe some of you guys can help me make a decision. I'm between Overlord and Diablo 3. Diablo.
Choices.
We've already started Diablo. I feel like if I'm going to put a game on Twitch, I want to start fresh with it. Overlord I've played, but it's been a while.
Yeah, that's a good point. Maybe it would be better to start fresh.
Yeah. I will add in, and I know I talked to you about it, Joe. I will be out next week.
Okay.
We can do Tuesday if you like.
Let's put off for a week, and that way give some time off with the game. I've got some stuff probably going on Tuesday, so.
Cool. I will be in Portland, so that's fun. Portland, Oregon.
Nice.
So likely
Yep,
I'll
hopefully-
probably stream something else in place of the game on Wednesday, just so we have something up and going.
Sounds
I don't
good.
know what.
Sounds
Maybe
like
I
a
might
plan.
stream some Death and Taxes in Magic the Gathering.
You guys can run a one-shot without me.
I don't know that I had the
I'm
prep
not
time for
DMing.
that, to be honest. I could do it, but I don't know if I have the time this weekend. So
That's fair.
I'm probably just going to go the easy route and play some Magic, because I can do that without prep.
I get you. All right, then. Well, like I said, we'll call it there. I'll put up that Pendragon class in the YouTube comments. But yeah, thanks for tuning in. We'll see you next time
Thanks.
on
Bye.
Nerds of the Round Table present Rumble in the Jungle.